Yeah, what is good, everybody? I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Seems we got that breakout on the markets on Friday, and now it's just a question of can it sustain it, can it hold it going on early into this week. So make sure to watch this whole video through so you know what to expect and what to be looking out for. And we're just going to get into it. Make sure to show the video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start off, oil, of course. I've been saying I'm looking for that move up. We're sort of getting that, but the way it's developing is not exactly in the most bullish way because um, what you want to see is you don't want to see this kind of structure where it's flagging, where you have this top that's being respected and a parallel line underneath that's just kind of magnetizing this event where it's just going to curl down to the downside because it's not showing the strength where buyers are stepping in and they're taking it to the upside. So this isn't the most bullish structure. It could change. It really just needs to prove itself. And I want to see that 76 region, specifically right here, test liquidity in that region. Um, and yeah, it's not about the price that we get to, it's rather how we get there. So we're just going to have to wait until we get more structure to work with and just be able to have more information to work with. So, oil, we're going to see how that does tomorrow. Really on watch for now. Natural gas. Um, I really want that yellow line to get hit, the 1.618 of this wave structure I'm looking at. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside that I explained in last week's video. Um, we got really close to it, so I'm not sure if we're just going to continue up from here. You had 3 lower lows with divergences, so I'm not sure if we're going to get that one last tiny little push down to that lower low, but if we do, I'm probably going to be going long in futures for quite a bounce here. I believe I showed this in my last video. This is like 50%. So 50% moves, you could move as high as 5.3 to test the bottom of that first wave low. So keep natural gas on watch. I'm telling you, this is not something you want to miss. These waves are gigantic, and it's a pretty close structure. So if you start seeing a bottoming process here, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would recommend considering taking some sort of natural gas position. So we'll be keeping this on watch, see if we do get that one last low. DXY. So last week's video, or Thursday's video, I was talking about how I wanted that. I was expecting this to get tested, and I'm actually going to show you that video. Pretty clear to me, as well as maybe something like this. So if it's a wedge, you would be coming back down right through this to the downside. There's this little region of illiquidity that might want to get tested right here. You can see that. So, yeah, so that's exactly what happened. We hit that region right here, testing the liquidity, and now I think it's looking pretty likely we get some kind of relief. We turn up to the upside, just get some sort of bounce because that was quite the sell-off. And after the sell-off, they can't go on forever. So, I mean, look back at every sell-off we had, you had some sort of bounce. So, I'm looking for a bounce. It doesn't exactly have to happen. We're pretty close to the lows. So if you start breaking through this region here, there's not really any buyers until you make a lower low and find new supports where buyers will be looking to come in. So that area would probably be, you have some illiquid regions right under here. So, it's looking a little rough. Yeah, if 101 doesn't hold, there's a lot of room for the markets to run. So, pretty crucial area right here. If it doesn't hold these lows, you could see some major downside on the U.S. dollar and major upside on the U.S. markets. So, keep an eye on these lows. I'm looking for some kind of relief, but we don't exactly have to get it. Apple, I've been clearing my bullish bias here. I was looking for that trend line to get reclaimed right here. That's exactly what happened. I said we need a bounce. It has to happen soon, or it's just not looking good. And we reclaimed that trend line. That support, pretty crucial one too. We broke out of this wedge channel sort of thing, and now, what we really just kind of want to see now is, if this is a wedge, this bigger picture, if you can see this here, if you break out of this wedge, well, you could see an enormous move to the upside. You still got that gap up there. Do not leave that out of the question. The market can do some irrational things in this environment, especially when everyone and their mom is shorting. So If it starts moving up, especially if it breaks out of this, um, I would be careful about shorting. I would be careful with shorting Apple. So I would like to see a little more upside, but we have to see how it reacts with this trend line. Could reject. Yeah, we'll have to see how it does on Monday. Tesla. We've been talking about that 101 region, 101 to 94. That's exactly what happened. I said bulls. Tesla bulls will buy literally like no matter how small the incentive is for buyers to come in, they take it. And we had this kind of tiny demand zone here. And what happened the second you dipped into it, buyers came in and they bounced right back up. So you still have that tiny gap lower here, but the downside is kind of limited here. We've been dropping a lot. There's a lot of short positions. It's not smart to be bearish now. We've already dropped. There's more downside, but this is too much. So if it breaks this, it's going to 66. And if it doesn't hold 66, it's 54. So that looks like too big of a drop for me to happen this fast. So I'm looking for some more upside, but I've said all of my videos I've been saying it's going to be a process. It's not just going to be like this. It's going to kind of have to consolidate, test all of these resistances, and I'm ultimately looking for the 140s maybe. So it's going to be interesting. This is going. A lot of sellers are going to come in here. I can almost guarantee you there's a lot of people who bought in at this region expecting this area to hold. I didn't get in. I didn't buy here, but I was actually expecting this to hold, and it sliced right through it, and what do you know? We went right down to that next demand zone. So I would expect a lot of people to want to kind of get out at break even. I would expect sellers to come in here if we do get back up there. Ultimately, the level to break is probably going to be around 120 right here. As you can see, that's definitely going to be a significant area. For now, these are the trend lines to watch. So put those lines on your charts and keep those on watch. So on to Amazon. I've also been bullish on this one. We're not going to go down forever. That's just not how it works. This trend line is going to break out at some point. And once that happens, once we get through this trend line as well, we can start talking about those gaps above. This is a pretty big one. A lot of incentive to get over it. And a point I want to make here, just so you can kind of use this to your own knowledge, this demand zone is in the shape of a bell curve. So we could also be range trading for a little bit, because when you're in a volume node with this kind of shape, you're going to have people taking positions in the middle, regardless if they're going long or going short. They ride it down or up to the outsides of the range, and they distribute their positions. So if shorts are taking their positions here, they're going to be looking to go into the bottom of the range, distribute their positions, close their positions, and same with the long positions. They wait to get up to the upper side of the region, distribute their positions, expecting that return to the mean reversion. And at some point, either side is going to become more aggressive, and they're going to break out. And that's when, both sides one side flips over and just add to that fuel of the breakout. So, Amazon, looking for a little more upside here. We just need to wait till we get through these two pretty significant lines. LabVIEW, if we're trying to get through this region, it really needs to prove itself. It's definitely struggling here. It hasn't been able to do it. And I was looking back a little, and I haven't seen it stay flat in this region, really. I think this is kind of the first time. So, it's going to be interesting to see what it does here. I think if it breaks out to the upside, it's going to be a really fast move, because I'm almost sure there's quite a few people shorting up here, just looking at the consistency of the rejection. So if it breaks out, you could see quite a fast move. Those targets, I've been saying 770, 810, but it could just as easily reject, test 660. If that breaks, we'll go right back to that bottom of the range. So going to be watching to see how it reacts with this region, this range in the middle, see if it wants to break out or reject and test those supports again. SOXX. We've been looking at these gaps, watching the gaps. The gaps on these are so relevant. They're so consistent. They really kind of show the way. They lead the path for these ETFs in the ways that they want to move. So we got this gap fill. I said, maybe wants to fill this one, maybe this one, but from these gaps up, it's a big move. 22% in the past pretty much the past week. So you got gaps all over the place, mainly this one. And this one, I think there's a higher incentive to fill this, just with the sentiment of the market. But we need to see what the overall market does Monday and Tuesday. I think those are really crucial days. So I don't really have a outlook for the markets yet. I really want to see what Monday does. So we're going to be talking about that very shortly. The VIX, we still haven't broken out. I've been saying we kind of need to get past the apex here to see which way it's really going to go. And until then, it's getting really tight here. So keep an eye on the VIX. This honestly looks like something you can straddle as well. It's right at the equilibrium of this triangle, so 50-50 sort of. I think you have more incentive to go to the downside quick, fill that gap. Just as easily can move to the upside. So DXY going to break out soon. I'm not sure how much tighter it can get, but I think it's safe to consider a straddle on the VIX right now. So on to SPY. So a couple things here. It looks like we have broken into the volume gap. This is the first time we've gotten over these past peaks, but there's a lot of things. I kind of have to. Okay, yeah. So first off, I'm going to start off with the volume gap. So this is the volume gap we've been talking about. I said it's not a great idea to short if we start moving up above this 386 level. And we were just pretty much squeezing all day. Now I kind of went against my own words there, and I said I wanted to short at 388.50 in the Discord. If you're in there, you know what I'm talking about. And we were developing a head and shoulders on one of the smaller time frames, and I took that position kind of prematurely. That was kind of dumb of me. That was kind of a little blunder I made, but overall, I do think this is going to get a pullback soon. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to zoom in a little bit, really take a deeper look at the wave structure. Futures, still flat, kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll do some Elliott wave on this in a little bit, but I want to keep talking about the volume gaps and especially this trend line here. So volume gap, we're inside of it, but it's the wave structure is a little conflicting with it. So if the wave structure, one of the structures plays out the way that it can, you'd be coming right back down out of the volume gap again. And that would also give you that clean rejection from this trend line here, which is pretty steep. I kind of have doubts that we can break through it, but we'll have to see. You really have to keep your eyes open to all perspectives. And if you took that straddle, you're up a pretty good amount, considering you took that straddle right down here. So whichever way it broke, you were going to make money. So anyone that took that straddle made money. And it's not that often you come across opportunities where it's pretty much guaranteed to make money, and that was one of them. So if you want more of those opportunities, subscribe so you don't really miss these plays. They don't come up often, but when they do, I am sure to make it clear. So I'm more biased to a pullback, not necessarily a complete crash and just start plummeting. Just there's so many people shorting. Everyone and their mom is shorting, and when everyone is leaning to one side, it makes me really uncomfortable to kind of have the same thought process as them. So the things I'm watching here, also, I forgot to point this out. We have a really a smaller volume gap right here, which you can see the bulls don't want to get into, because if you get into this, it's a straight drop right down to 377, and that will also validate the wave structure that I'm looking for. So I think I'm ready to go into that. Ultimately, if this thing wants to keep moving up, the target is 394 to 396. So going into the wave structure, there's really kind of two structure possibilities I'm looking at. So this is one of them. And in this case would be we have one more high to make, and then we retrace. Or we have already finished our 5 waves up, which would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is just weird. It's completely flat, and something that I kind of noticed. So we were completely flat in futures during Friday. I went back in history and I kind of looked at what happened the past few times we were completely flat going into the weekend. And skip past this part if you want, but I'm just going to kind of show you how this happens every single time. We gap up every single time we're flat going into the weekend. So give me a sec to find one of these gaps. I don't know why it's so hard to find for me right now. But just skip past this if you just want to move on. But I'm going to find it. So I might have to go out to the 15 minutes. So if I can find it, I'm just going to forget about it. But yeah, we'll come back to it at a different time. So anyways, back to the wave structure. There's two possibilities. One, we move down from here. We go lower. And those targets would be, we would be looking at the 0.382 to the 50%. If we go below the 50%, you can go much lower because it will actually start. That's for the other scenario. So for this one, if this is 5 waves up, you can move below to the 50% and you'd be looking for the golden pocket to hold. So if you're not really sure how to like equate that to SPY, I'll do it on SPY as well. So for SPY, what you'd want to be seeing is if we topped for now, 384 to 382. And interestingly enough, you can also top at 385, and there's definitely going to be buyers that I think will attempt to hold it up there if we come down here. And it can go past 50%, that golden pocket, but if this is not the top, what we can move to is, on SPY, it would be, considering this is the 5th wave in the making, so this is just the 3rd wave, and there was a small 4 wave, and I said in the Discord, I said it's possible because wave 4 only has to go to the 14.6% retrace of wave 3, so it's really shallow, I know, and it's really just looking awkward right now, considering how completely flat we are. So it's kind of hard to read the structure right now. I would like Monday to play out so I can just have more to work with, but in the case that we do get that higher high, I'm going to be looking for 390 to 392. So, if this wave decides to extend a little, I think, yeah, you're going to be looking at this region. So, $2 range, I know it's kind of a wide range for me to give, but if you're running that straddle, that doesn't hurt you at all. And also, in the Discord, I told people to take some profits on the long positions in that straddle, like 1/5 of it, just to secure some profits, because if this is the top and we go lower, you can just reevaluate, restructure your plan, kind of prepare from there. So, the two scenarios, we have topped, or we have one more high, which you move up, and then you correct. And in that case, that would be 5 waves up, 3 down, and would very, very likely result in going even higher after that pullback. So we're going to see how Monday plays out. This is where I'm going to leave this video. If you want the whole thing through, show it some love, give it a like and subscribe, and peace out, guys.